You want me to put that on my Tudor?
This one's wife. She didn't have a clue. Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. The Mail, with an article by Maria Chiarando, tells us Queen Elizabeth's childhood friend, Lady Glenconnor, hits out at this one's wife, saying, "The Duchess thought royal life would be like being a film star." Now, on the one hand, you might have a degree of sympathy for this one's wife. After all, she wasn't brought up in royal circles, she's not royalty, she's not even minor royalty, she's not British, and therefore, how could she understand how the royal family worked? Well, many people are not royalty, but they have an understanding of the way that it functions as a consequence of general exposure to it, articles and programs about the royal family, and also something called working it out yourself by looking it up. These days we have access to so much information, it isn't that difficult to find out more about what life is like for others. Of course, what has to be borne in mind also is that this one's wife portrayed herself as knowing nothing about the royal family and Prince Harry, although we all know that that was a revision of history and a lie. She had her shrine to Diana, Princess of Wales. She went to Buckingham Palace. She had posters up of various royals that she had taken an interest. And of course, a narcissist utilises information because information allows the assertion of control, and to suggest that she didn't know anything about Harry beforehand is utter bullshit. She will have Googled him, found out more information about him in order for her narcissism to utilise that information for the purposes of mirroring to make the seduction all the easier. Nevertheless, it isn't a surprise to learn that she thought it would be like being a film star because 1, she's lazy, 2, she's entitled, 3, she comes from that environment, and that her narcissism would have told her, you'll be the centre of everything. You'll be able to go everywhere, and everybody will be waving and cheering at you. Everybody will want to meet you. People will be wanting to give you gifts. People will be wanting to spend time with you. People will be giving you money. It'll be a fantastic, absolutely wonderful existence. What her narcissism didn't tell her would be the necessity of putting in some hard work, going to things which perhaps actually weren't that interesting, having to listen to people talking about things which are perhaps rather dull. But she functions through the delusion generated by her narcissism. Lady Glenconnor has hit out at this one's wife for thinking being in the royal family would be the same as being a film star. The 91-year-old was one of Queen Elizabeth II's 6 maids of honours at the late monarch's 1953 coronation. Her royal connections do not end there. As well as enjoying a childhood friendship with the late Queen, she was lady-in-waiting to the monarch's sister, Princess Margaret. She said the Duchess of Sussex thought she would be riding around in a golden coach after her marriage to Prince Harry and didn't know what duties were expected of her. Somebody with a degree of intelligence that knows that they're going to be moving into a centuries-old institution would start to look up what duties would be expected of her and would undoubtedly ask. And remember, she was given a staff to help her assimilate into the royal family. Camilla and Sophie were dispatched to give her assistance and guide her, but of course she wasn't interested because her narcissism told her she knew best. The British socialite added that she feels very sorry for her husband and said this opinion is also felt in America. Speaking on the Rosebud with Giles Brandreth podcast, Lady Glenconnor said, I think the thing about this one's wife was she had no idea what was expected of her, really. I think she just thought it was sort of like being another actress, you know, riding around in a golden coach and everything like that. And actually, being a member of the royal family, a lot of it is extremely boring. Lady Glenconnor said members of the royal family are expected to meet thousands of people and to say something interesting and nice to each person. Discussing the king's coronation, Lady Glenconner said she sat next to American politician John Kerry, aged 79. The socialite, born Anne Tennant, said she asked him, "What do you think in America about Harry and this one's wife?" She continued, he said, "We all feel very, very sorry for Harry. I think I can just leave it at that." And it's interesting that John Kerry picks up on the fact that they can identify that Harry has a difficult time with this one's wife. They may not recognise it as a consequence of the fact that she's a narcissist, but once again, they have seen the way that she has behaved. They've seen the demands that she makes. They've seen the way that she treats people. And therefore they know that life cannot be easy for Harry. This one's wife, 42, and Prince Harry, 39, met in 2016 and married 2 years later. In January 2020, the pair left the royal family and stepped down as senior royals. They left the UK and signed major media deals with Spotify, with whom they have now parted company, and Netflix. They live in California and have been critical of the monarchy on a number of occasions. Accordingly, here you have somebody who has been involved in the royal family for a very long time indeed. And it's unsurprising that this individual is able to identify that this one's wife had a completely deluded view about what it would be like. Let's go below the line to see if there is sympathy for her views. Charlotte Davenport from the United States writes, "If she had no idea what was expected of her, it's because she refused to listen to the counsel she was offered," a point that I made earlier on. Carolina Troops adds, "Exactly, she refused all the offers of help as she knew best." Then we also have Jumelji, also from the United States. She's right. This one's wife wanted the glitz, the glamour, the tiaras, and all the prerequisites without realization or concern that it came with rules and restrictions. John, also from the United States, "It seems to be pretty obvious that this one's wife thought she was going to be a pampered princess rather than a working royal. Surprise, nothing in life is free." Across the pond, also from the United States, of course she did. Red carpets, hordes of people screaming her name, had no intention of staying in Britain, wanted her fame to transfer it to the United States. Sabine Hightower from Belize, "Hear, hear, I thought the same thing for years now." The Merry Life, also from the United States, "Years later, and people are still saying the same things about her behaviour, the exact same things. That says it all." The fact is that this one's wife believed that she was better, believed that she knew how it should be done. And she thought that rather than being the individual that's engaging in service, namely, you are there, yes, you're the main attraction, but you're actually there to say something interesting to people, to take an interest in what they're doing. So that you've got to find something interesting to ask somebody who packs biscuits in a factory. That you've got to find something interesting to say to somebody whose job is putting the tops on tubes of toothpaste. And that's probably mechanized these days. But the point is, with many of these events that the royal family go to, as the lady stated, they're actually really boring. But the point is that when you're a member of the royal family, you recognize that you have a position of privilege, and you recognize that you're there to take an interest in what's going on, rather than everybody taking an interest in you. As a narcissist, this one's wife, of course, wants everybody to be interested in her. She has no interest in anybody else. All eyes have to be on her. And therefore, when she finds out that she's got to shake hands and actually show an interest in other people, which takes ingenuity, kindness, emotional empathy, she wasn't up to the job and she wasn't interested. She wanted all of the glamorous stuff so that people would be going, "Oh wow, look, isn't she so beautiful? Oh wow, look, there's a princess." And when this didn't manifest for her, of course, this amounted to a threat to control, and her narcissism sought to reject it. She didn't have a clue about what was expected of her. She did nothing to try and find out. and her behaviour demonstrated she didn't have a clue. I'm HG Tudor. Thank you for listening.